Steven Palazzo is on with us. Good morning, sir. How are you? Can you hear me?
Hey, good morning, Paul. I'm doing fan. Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear. Are you burning leather, or are you in Washington, or where are you now?
No, we're working hard in the Pine Belt this morning. We got a full day of meet and greets, visiting business and industry. And I was actually trying to send you the receipt that I had from yesterday, where I had 24 gallons and it was over $108 at the pump.
It's absolutely amazing.
Yeah. Thank you, Joe Biden, for the increased cost of energy.
Well, this is going to be an important election midterms in more ways than one, certainly for the state of Mississippi as well as other states that have Republicans in there and want to keep them in there, because it's going to shock a lot of people if the Democrats remain in power, certainly in the House. But the way things are going, it looks like the House and maybe also the Senate, and who knows what the leadership's going to look like in the White House in 4 or 5 months from now, the way things are going. But I do want to mention this, though. You're in a dogfight now with your opponent, and have you addressed some of the concerns that he has as far as what he has apparently ridden to the runoff with?
Yeah, I mean, listen, my political opponents have been running against me for 2 years and putting out false, rumors, false ads, and we address them. I mean, listen, I show up for Mississippi, I deliver for Mississippi, and Mississippians aren't dumb. My opponents think South Mississippians are dumb, but they're not. They know that I'm working hard for them, and they also know that I can't be everywhere in the district all the time because 2 to 3 weeks out of the month, they hired me to go to Washington, D.C. to fight the progressive, liberal, secular agenda, to fight Nancy Pelosi, to stand up against Joe Biden. They know that, and I think they're waking up to that reality, Paul, because people just didn't turn out to vote. That wasn't a turnout vote against me. It was a turnout. It was just a low turnout, and people went to the effectively garnered certain support in certain areas, but people have to vote June 28th. Otherwise, we're going to be sending a freshman to Congress at a time when the majority is going to flip the Republicans, and I'm in line to be chairman of the Homeland Security Committee that has jurisdiction over the southern border, has jurisdiction over the Coast Guard, has jurisdiction over FEMA. My other committee has jurisdiction over NASA and the FBI. And so, do we really want to start over from scratch when my opponents have been basically saying, basically they have no plan. They presenting nothing to the people of South Mississippi. All they did was try to present negatives against me. Yep. And the ones that do have a plan, that's my plan, and I've been doing it for 12 years. So why would you hire somebody that has no track record, has not proven themselves to be pro-life or pro-gun or pro-business or ever created a job or delivered anything for South Mississippi? Why would you throw out the person that's done all that for you and your family and keep the guy that has no record at all?
Go back to
or hire a guy that has no record.
Go back to the Homeland Security deal. Are you saying you would be chairman of that? Are you in line to be chairman, or just on the committee?
Yes, I'm in line to be chairman of the Homeland Security Committee on Appropriations. And you may recall in 2019, I negotiated $1.6 billion because I was on this committee. I'm the vice chair of the committee today. And in 2019, I negotiated $1.6 billion to build Trump's wall, to build America's wall. And so no freshman will ever be in a position to do that. It will take anybody, 8 to 10 years before they would be on the committees that I'm on.
We understand seniority. I agree with you.
Mississippi has always had appropriators, and and there's so much involved in being in Congress. It's not just coming home and going to festivals, but it's a lot of work. But what's important are the relationships, the seniority, and the committees. I have all three of those, but I'm on appropriations because of my relationships with my fellow members in Congress. if we lose this appropriator seat, which is the first time in 100 years South Mississippi has had an appropriator in the House, we will not retain this seat. This seat will go somewhere else. It may go to Maya Flores in Texas that just won, but it's going to go somewhere else. It's not going to stay in Mississippi, and we're not going to be able to deliver for our men and women in uniform, our shipyards, NASA, NOAA,
just to ask you this. How sensitive would the leadership be, whether it's Kevin McCarthy or Jim Jordan or whomever it happens to be, to move from a Mississippi position to Mississippi? Because you'd be replacing Benny Thompson. It would be kind of ironic. You'd have it go from the Mississippian on the Democrat side to the Mississippian on the Republican side.
Yeah, Paul, real quick, that's two different committees. Benny's Homeland Security authorizing. I'm Homeland Security appropriations. There's just
okay,
two
it is a
committees.
different committee. Okay, I got you.
Right. Like, so if you imagine what an authorizer does, say at Christmas time, they hang the stocking and leave a list of things that they want, and the appropriators actually come in and fill the stocking with what we think they need, which is what we did in 2019 when we got $1.6 billion to finish the wall. And who would have known COVID, and next thing President Biden getting elected somehow decided he's going to stop funding the wall, and which has led to the absolute disaster we have down there right now.
One of the things you have to realize, and I'm sure you do, because we both have been around politics for a long time now, is that when you have that many people running against you, you got to look back and say, am I doing the things that I need to do to satisfy the population? Why are they angry at me? So, I mean, have you taken a look at that other than their words of a no-show at some of the events?
Yeah, no, we're fixing that, Paul. Look, we will never be in a position as we are in today. And you got to understand, there's an alumni crowd out there of pretty much desperate opponents who have no path to victory. Many of them aren't even from Mississippi or have deep roots in Mississippi. And they get out there. There's a small barrier to entry. But look, we're addressing it. People want to see me more, and they're going to see me more. They're going to see me to the point to where they're tired of seeing me, but they're going to know that I'm there. I mean,
but why haven't you done that? Why weren't you doing that in the last 2 years?
Well, we have been, Paul. I mean, again, I'm in D.C. 2 to 3 weeks out of the month. I mean, we do teletown halls once a quarter where we're touching 40,000 people. I mean, I'm out and about at festivals. It's just you can't be everywhere. Again, these are my desperate opponents manufacturing lies that people are basically buying into, but there's also that
real quick, hang on, real quick, because I want you to answer this. We only got 10, 15 seconds on this. How important is that incumbency as far as the military infrastructure in your district?
My goodness, it's so important. The relationships, the seniority, being on the most powerful committee in Congress. I mean, just imagine, I've delivered 26 ships at $26 billion for Ingalls Shipyard alone over the past 12 years. We've helped save jobs at NASA, and we're building the first polar security cutter at VT Halter for the United States Coast Guard. It is extremely important to South Mississippi and our quality of life.
Steven, as always, sir, I appreciate the time, and thank you for coming on. Good luck to you, sir.
Thank you, Paul. Have a great day.
Congressman Steven Palazzo, final segments coming up.